good.
All right. All right, I'm going to call to order the Town of St. Paul Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for Tuesday, December 16th. And first thing we'll do is the roll call. Jason?
Here.
Eric?
Here.
Camden?
Here.
Tammy?
Here.
Gary? I'm here. Okay, and then let's do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so number 3, we'll take if there's any public comments. You guys are tied with one of the agenda items, right?
4.2.
4.2, okay. And so we'll move on to our regular agenda. So 4.1, discussion and possible action of the minutes. So let's take a look at the minutes, and then once those are done, I'll take a motion.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 21st, 2025.
All right, can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passed. All right, we'll move on to 4.2. Discussion of and possible action for 2404 Parker Road, auto sales, 2.04 acres. Discussion and possible action regarding recommendation to the council on amending the town's land use table to include vehicle dealers. That's where you guys come in, right?
Yes.
So do you want to fill us in on what your plans are, or talk to us about it?
Sit here, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're trying to put a dealership there, just to use cars and view. And
We've been in business since 2013, so we'd like to expand over here. We're moving it, we'd like to.
So you have a place currently?
Yes, we do.
yeah, we do. We have it on FM 544. We're renting it.
That's it.
Yeah, we want to have our own place
Right.
not to rent.
Yeah, we live here in Wiley, our kids go to St. Paul, we really like this area. So it seems like the road is getting wider, and it seems like there's other businesses growing, so we'd like to be a part of it.
Okay. Your current one, you said was on 544?
FM 544, yes.
And what town?
Wiley.
Oh, it's in Wiley.
Yeah, next to the Dodge Bros coffee shop on FM 544.
Okay.
Yeah, that's us.
So what do you anticipate for that property? There's a house on the property currently?
Yes, it's a house.
So what do you envision for the property? Is it to raise the house and just to have cars, or?
I mean, we want to make a nice development, put a new building maybe, remodel maybe the house, keep it as an office. Take the pool out. I know it's a new pool, but can I use the pool?
Anybody needs a pool?
So you guys live there now?
No.
No.
Do you plan on living there and having the?
I mean, if it's going to be business,
Yeah, we can't
We
live
can't live
and have
there.
business there. Normally it's not allowed.
I mean, if it's allowed, it'd be great. I don't know, we can leave it.
How large is that property?
I think currently there is no zoning on it.
No, but Emil and his wife are here this evening because they've been in the office now for probably about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Even before they purchased the property, they talked about how they'd like to possibly have commercial use. And at that time, we told them we didn't have that type of zoning. And they want to move forward to see if it's something even planning and zoning or the town council would consider. I reached out to our town attorney to just verify what would be the appropriate process if P&Z and council did want to move forward with zoning or creating a use. for a model automobile dealership, and we have to amend our use chart in the zoning chapter, and then you may want to consider an SUP to be issued on, for an automobile dealership as well. But right now, we don't have any zoning that would allow that type of use.
So I know back when we last updated the zoning and use table, there was a mailer sent out to everyone in the town of St. Paul.
Right.
And there's a reason that there's no auto sales
Right.
in St. Paul.
Okay.
Because the feedback at that time was that was not something that they wanted in the town.
Okay.
And that's why it's not allowed in, you know, the current use table. The fear, I believe, you know, would be that once we, you know, make an exception for one, we'd have to make an exception for anybody else that really wanted to come in. The other thing that, you know, to even consider something like that would be, at a bare minimum, since there's, you know, no current zoning allowed for such business in the town of St. Paul, to issue a special use permit, I would believe at a bare minimum, we'd have to have, you know, agreement from the surrounding neighbors that, you know, they would, you know, agree or want, you know, that type of a business, you know, as a neighbor per se. And then the other thing that would come to mind, you know, and I'm just kind of rambling on here, would be what type of lighting, you know. There's a whole list of probably other types of things that would have to, you know, be put into consideration. But, you know, like I said, I think from the, you know, and this was probably more than 5, 8, 10 years ago when we last updated that table.
Okay.
But I know at that point in time when the flyers were sent out, that was not something that, you know, and I'm quoting this from memory, okay? Like I said, 5, 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But that was not a use that, that they really wanted to allow in the town at that point in time. Whether that's changed or not, you know, that sentiment, you know, I'm not going to step out on a limb and say, well, today that's the case.
Gotcha.
That, you know, just, you know, providing some comments and color.
Okay.
I think this would fall under needing that 8-foot cement wall also, the cinder block wall around the, at least the back of the property.
If it was a commercial property butting up against residential,
For the code view.
What you need, what, 8-foot what?
Masonry wall, that's it.
Oh, where the back, the neighbor house?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
anywhere where the
I mean, we
commercial,
don't do mechanic work right now, like where my dealerships, I don't do mechanic work. We don't work with the cars. If we do, we have a separate warehouse, which one, if you come to our dealership, check, you're more welcome, and that is like on FM 544, we don't have a mechanic shop, we don't work with the cars, we don't fix cars. We have like a nice high-end cars, you know, no
understood.
noise, I mean, if we gotta put a wall, you know, that's not a problem.
No, I understand. Like I said, it boils down to, it's not in the use table. It would require a special use permit. And then, as pointed out, then there's other requirements being.
Yeah, I know it's a requirement,
But,
but,
you know, if we allow, you know, one dealership to come in, well, if somebody else wanted to do something similar, you know, if I was in their shoes, right, I'd say, well, you allowed it over here, how come not to allow it over here? But like I said, from memory, and whether we've got, you know, any of that information available in historical terms, Lord knows. Like I said, I know it's been at least, you know, 5 to 8 years ago that we sent out the, you know, the flyers saying, you know, what kind of businesses would you like to see in the town?
gotcha.
I think it was in that document I gave.
That
you,
conference of
2018.
Yeah, hey, I said 5 to 8 years. Man, I had that pretty good. Well, I know that's how long ago it was I was on P and Z.
It was, yes.
So, anyway, that's all the comments I'll make.
I know the fear of allowing automotive type places, you say you don't work on the cars, but
No.
the fear is that it will turn into working on cars, and it'll turn into a junkyard, piles
Oh,
of
I
bald
know.
tires, motor oil, dead batteries. just-
No, we don't do all that. I don't do mechanics, so.
Right.
Yeah, we wanna do something nice. It's like our family business. You know, we're not doing all this. A lot of shops do. I know what you're talking about. You're more welcome. I said, come check out where's we have. No mechanic.
Yeah, I think I've been there before.
Yeah, when I have a mechanic work, you know, I'm not trying to work on the cars. I don't like to work on the cars.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I mean, but we just have high-end cars, nice cars, and we try to develop nice, make it look good. It's not like we wanna come in just, put a crusher, I wanna pour a concrete, follow the, whatever we gotta do, make it look good. Because it's in the main road. We're always here, we live here. We want to develop something nice, that's it.
My worry was the same thing, Eric, because we have that one, where am I at? This way, over there by Johnny's.
No, she talked about John's.
That was listed in the packet, and it doesn't look good. At least
No.
it's hidden, it's not on the main road. But again, yes, if we let you and you have a nice one, and then someone else comes in and they do have a mechanic, and they do have tires, and they do have trash batteries, then that space is gonna look bad. So yours may look really nice, but then we're allowing for others, and then we're getting
Well,
that junky
it's not,
system
also
again.
not just about them, it's after they're
It's
gone.
everybody else. right.
After, 30 years down the line, the place is still
I
somebody
mean,
else's.
everywhere is
Yeah.
developing. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen to me tomorrow. So
Exactly.
I cannot say anything.
I don't know, is there action?
Yes, I mean, what would your recommendation be to council to amend the use chart to allow auto or not?
I think what I'd like to know is more about what you're gonna do on the property. You said the house may stay, it may not stay, I mean, are you gonna make that concrete, the entire property line?
I mean,
2
nothing
acres, right?
entire, I mean, that's a lot. It's not 2.4, it's a lot less. I think it's 1.8 or 1.7, the
So
property.
you sold that area to the road.
Yeah, they sold the,
Expansion.
some
So
of
it's
them.
less than 2 acres?
Yeah, it's a less than 2 acres. And we're
So-
not trying to pour it everywhere, not really.
I also think we have I was looking it up, we have for commercial, I think a 2 acre minimum requirement in the ordinances. Like it's 1.5 for houses and then two minimum for commercial.
I guess I'll go buy the neighbor behind me then. That's not a problem. I heard they want to sell it.
Oh, okay, I understand that, but I mean,
I
I would
don't
be
know,
more
I mean-
interested in understanding what you're gonna do.
I want to do it what you guys suggest me. I don't want to go there and do what I want to do, because I gotta go by your guidelines too, what you guys want to ask me. You can follow it or do it the right way.
Okay.
When I try to do like she's saying about the dealership over there, I know what she's talking about. I don't want to have a dealership like that. It's not presentable, it's dirty, ugly. I want to make it look something nice, good. You know,
Okay.
maybe we use a little bit of property, but or something different business, like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. So what I was getting at, what I was trying to get at is, lighting and, types of lighting. Is it gonna be concrete or is it gonna be blacktop or are you gonna
I mean, I
modify?
see people here do concrete, they don't like it blacktop because from the sun it melts, I guess, it make a mess. So I will do concrete,
Okay.
that's the best way.
Is that gonna be the entire, is the house gonna stay or are you gonna?
I mean, whatever you guys suggest, if you want me to, keep the house and remodel, we can do that, or we can take it out. I just don't wanna walk in there and do what I wanna do and you guys don't approve it. We can work on it together, like explain to Scott. I'm not coming in trying to just open a business and walk away. This is my family business, I have 2 kids, so that's what I do, I wanna make it nice. It's not like that dealership, I don't know what to do there, so I don't wanna do that.
I understand that.
I wanna make it presentable, it's in the main road, it's next to you guys, I wanna make it nice too.
I don't think I would feel comfortable moving forward with anything or encouraging it unless we knew from the citizenship what they felt. I don't know if it's too soon to do another, or if we just stick with the current one, but I think that would be treading on very thin ice if we were to say yes, or to encourage it when it wasn't allowed prior to. But I don't know.
I think
you
at
said
a minimum, you're gonna have
2018?
to
2017.
check with the neighbors surrounding, right?
That would be a minimum.
If you, yeah, 200 feet.
Yeah.
And then if,
And we don't have an SUP currently that would cover it, I don't
No.
think so. There's more than one thing that has to be done here.
No, I
to move
understand,
forward.
you gotta follow the steps the
Right.
right way.
well, and then the question also becomes, if the current property is or less than 2 acres, as pointed out, if the requirement is 2 acre minimum for commercial, that's a variance at a bare minimum, just for that, right?
Yeah.
So there's multiple hurdles at the moment that I think would prevent, quote unquote, making a recommendation to council at this point in time.
Okay.
So, how do we move forward? Because we're just learning about this. I mean, the P&Z is just learning about this, so,
Well, the
Do we-
variance is an issue.
do we,
which-
sure, go ahead.
Obviously, the variance is an issue,
Yes.
but then how the residents, their feedback.
Right.
I can go see if I can find that information from the previous survey and bring it back to P&Z in January.
I think that's probably
The best
Okay.
first
the
step.
only way forward at this point in time.
Okay.
Now, if we have any specific questions, like I brought up, obviously we go through you to get to them.
Okay.
That's the proper
Okay.
way, right?
Okay.
And so we can, and then of course we gotta figure out, we don't have an SUP that would cover that.
No.
So that would be another step that would have to go.
Yeah. So I think where we come back, I'll come back in January, look for that survey information, and if there's any other details that you want me to research before that meeting, let me know. And reconsider the issue again at that time.
Agreed.
Okay. So we'll table it until the January meeting.
I think that's the best we can do.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. All right, so we are done with 4.2. Let's move to 4.3, discussion of St. Paul Road residential development, 16 lots. Discussion regarding a proposed residential development consisting of residential lots.
Yeah,
There is
just-
a picture in here. Go ahead.
I just want to bring
Okay.
planning, I just want to bring planning and zoning up to date as far as the residential development on St. Paul Road. You've met with Mr. Logan, I think, on 2 or 3 other occasions. He is moving forward with developing the entire 24 acres, which includes the existing house on St. Paul Road. I think there's a total of 16 lots, if I recall correctly. And of those 16 lots, I think he's going to be requesting a variance on 4 of the lots because they're just below 1.5, they're at like 1.1. So that'll be going before the Board of Adjustments on January 12th, I believe. And then he had one lot as well, I think it was lot 13, where he did not meet the depth requirement for the R15 zoning. I think we required 200 feet, and he was not meeting that depth as well. So he's going to go before the Board of Adjustments requesting a second variant, or requesting a variance for the depth. And if those variances are granted, I would anticipate we'd have a plat before you probably at the latest in February.
Is the entirety in St. Paul, or is it in?
It's all in
TJ?
St. Paul.
Okay.
It's all in St. Paul.
So-
The roads would be private, and I've had that conversation with him a couple of times. So we may want to start thinking about that a little bit, what that could look like. I think we may have to have some sort of road easement over the roads. I've had exchanged a couple of emails with Clark regarding that issue. But we, I don't know what his plans are for maintaining those roads either.
So, from memory, I mean, and my memory ain't what it used to be,
Yeah.
but the discussion that we had before was we didn't necessarily agree that we quote unquote would approve or, less than 1.5 acres. And
looks like we have 3 that are 1.1 thereabouts, that together the 3 could be divided in 2
Well, like I said.
and meet the 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, from memory,
Right.
we provided that feedback, and what I'm hearing is,
He
I'm
has
just gonna,
4
I'm just
lots.
gonna state it.
Right.
He ignored
And this
what
is,
the feedback.
this is his fourth plan, because he presented
Yeah.
3 others at a prior meeting with different things with like resident, or with like
Clubhouse.
commercial retail in front and some other things. And he still isn't meeting that
The
requirement.
thing that changed here, right, because I hadn't heard this before, is that now the lot goes to the middle of the road.
Well, he's talked about that, but that wouldn't change. He would still have to follow the area requirements more than likely.
Yeah.
Our subdivision regulations do not speak to, how to handle private roads. But we would like for him to continue to meet the area requirements for R15.
Okay. Okay, so even though the plan indicates there's several that are at 1.5.
Right.
there's-
But his next step is go for Board of Adjustment to see if they grant him his variance, and then if it is granted, then I would anticipate that he'd have a plat for you in February.
Okay, okay, so the bottom line is, once he does that, then we'll see the plan.
Right, or I'll give you another update.
Right, so there is nothing else for us to do.
Nothing else, right?
Okay.
All right.
I actually have a question about the lots 3, 4, and 5 on the cul-de-sac. Because looking at our regulations, it says 35 feet at the street line, or at the property line. But it doesn't have an exception for the width. You need 160 feet. And none of these meet that
Good
requirement.
point,
That's a good point.
that's a good
None of those are
point.
wide enough, that 15-foot setback.
Well, I suspect that's not just 3, 4, and 5. If you look at, 10, 11, and 12, I suspect you got the same issue.
I blew it up when I was using a tape measure, so it wasn't exact science, but
Okay.
these were pretty obvious in
Yeah.
terms of violating that.
Okay. I'll bring that to his attention.
I guess we'll wait to hear about that.
Yes.
All right, so we move on to 4.4, retail building, Country Club Plaza Lot 4, Lakeway Drive, discussion regarding a proposed commercial development along Lakeway Drive.
Yeah, this came in a couple of weeks ago. Alex actually spoke with this gentleman, and we haven't heard from him since, but supposedly this was a project that started back in 2020 on Lot 4 of Lakeway Drive, 8,000 square foot building, where they were going to have 4 office spaces and 4 retail. Quickly reached out to him as far as wastewater service, and that's when we learned that he has 2 stub outs supposedly that were granted to him from the Wiley Northeast Special Utility District because they provided an easement to the district to bring the wastewater line through there as well. Haven't heard anything from this gentleman since he initially reached out. Still waiting to see. I told him he'd have to bring a site plan before planning for Planning and Zoning Commission. But he was under the impression that the site plan had been approved previously. And I told him he'd have to show me some documentation of that being approved. So I told him as of right now, he'd get to bring a site plan before Planning and Zoning. So I haven't been able to find any records where it was approved. So.
Maybe you won't show up again for another 5 years.
It's also, I think, small, right? It's like an acre. I don't have the big
It
packet.
does-
Well, not with all. Is this just on the one lot?
He said just, I think it was lot 4, yes.
Yeah.
It's on the, I think it's on the west side of
Yeah,
the
it
water
is.
tower, yeah.
Oh, that is pretty small.
Yeah, it's,
This picture
well,
looks,
the picture, if I'm looking at the picture, it's 1.0101 acres.
There are communications between the town and the developer where they seem to be moving forward with the project. But there was no communications that I was able to find where there had been approval of it.
At least
Just make you aware of it.
the picture that he's got there looks like it's a 2-story building.
Yeah.
looks like whatever you said.
1 point, yeah, anyway.
So I was hoping Ken could shed some light on this project tonight.
I remember the guy coming in front of us, but I don't remember about it. He's seen any plan, and I never saw this building before, so.
Yeah,
And then,
it doesn't ring a bell, I'll put it to
he
you.
didn't come back for 5 years. I mean,
Yeah.
COVID hit somewhere in that time frame too, so I don't know.
May 15th, 1986.
Whoa,
Oh,
okay, I don't know nothing about that, then, sorry.
yeah,
No, I didn't build my house until like 98.
Okay, so are we done discussing?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
All right, so 4.5, discussion on commercial interest, 1.35 acres at 1708 Parker Road. Discussion regarding potential commercial development on approximately 1.3 acres at 1708 Parker Road. Is that the one that's right next to the pantry?
No, this is on the opposite side.
It's
on the
it's
pantry.
across-
Exactly, right across
right,
the road.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
across.
And again, obviously, this is less than 2 acres. And one of the reasons why I'm briefing you on these projects, because there is a lot of activity coming up right now. And even when I communicate with a developer or whoever that, you know what, this doesn't meet our requirements, they still want to come meet with you. So I don't want you to be blindsided, and I'm not going to tell someone they can't meet with you.
You're absolutely
I'm not
right.
going to do that.
I mean, they have the right to come
Right.
before us
Right,
and hear,
right,
you know,
right.
rather than just hear from you.
Right, right. So I kind of anticipate this is going to be happening a little more
Sure.
frequently. And
Yeah.
so I don't want you to think that I'm just dropping this on your lap.
No,
But that's what I'm dealing with right now.
no, agreed. I agree with,
And this is one of the lots that's getting a lot of activity.
yeah.
Well, this is right across from the pantry, and it was right next to the church, or the proposed church from a while ago.
Yes.
Is that the lot we're talking
There's
about?
just
Yes,
metal
yes,
buildings.
yes, yes, yes.
Oh, there, okay, yeah, I saw that.
mhm.
Thanks for the area.
It's like already almost a commercial property because there's not a house.
All right,
Yeah, it's just a
so,
shop or warehouse.
Well, the shop is the house, right? It's got a bathroom.
Well, I looked up the listing, they got a for sale sign on it now, and I went ahead and was nosy about it, and there is like a 1-bedroom apartment in that metal shed. It's not very livable, it looks like.
okay,
All right, well,
so, again, you're just informing.
Yes.
so keep you active.
no, I agree, that's,
All right,
keep informing us.
all right. 4.6, discussion, commercial interest, 1.89 acres.
Yeah, this is another
This
property.
is the one that is next to the.
Yeah, this is next to the pantry. This one, a little more interesting, 1.8 acres.
Oh, this is the partial in St. Paul, right?
Partial in, partial out. And even if we consider the 2021 zoning map as our official zoning map, there's no zoning on that map for this tract that's in the front. Nor are there any records of the property ever being zoned. So I would anticipate this one's going to be coming before you as well, because particularly this tract is getting a lot of attention right now too.
Okay, this one also has a house on it, right?
Yes.
Not much behind it, right? It's just a house.
It's a house.
That's what it looks like, I mean, it just looks like a house over there. It'll be-
It's big and narrow.
This was the guy at the last meeting, right?
Yeah.
He was talking about selling just the front.
Yeah, he was at your last meeting.
Okay. All right, so we will move on. We are now discussing 4.7, so we'll jump to 4.8.
The fence ordinance.
I'm sorry?
The fence
Fence
ordinance,
ordinance.
yes.
Yes, the fence ordinance. So, discussion and possible action regarding the draft fence ordinance.
We were told not to talk about it.
I need to address 4.7, so
Oh,
if you could open
okay.
that item, I appreciate it.
Well, no, yeah, okay. You may. We'll go back to
Thank you.
4.7.
This is, by the way, I'm Clark McQuillan, the town attorney for St. Paul. This item was placed to discuss the current status of the zoning in the town overall. And as you may know, there's been a lawsuit filed against the town on a zoning issue, challenging the zoning. And this item was not vetted before it was put on the agenda. It was not sent to the town attorney for review. It wasn't vetted by the council. In a lawsuit like this, the town relies on outside legal counsel to defend it. That's through the Texas Municipal League. Specifically, it's their branch known as the TML Intergovernmental Risk Pool. And when a town gets sued in a case like this, they assign an outside attorney to come in and defend the town. That happened pretty recently. And that attorney is busy getting up to speed on the complexity and the facts in that case. It takes time. And we need to be cautious and consider exactly how we're proceeding, and that that's being done in accordance with the council's policies and the council's direction and the way that they want to move this forward based on legal advice from the town attorney and the outside risk pool counsel, because this could affect the litigation. And this item really should have never been placed on the agenda. And there's content in the packet under this item that the town doesn't necessarily agree with, the town staff. And the town council may be very much at odds about some of those issues, some of the legal issues, and some of the facts that are asserted. So I am asking that the commission take no action and have no discussion on this item this evening.
Well, that's not the whole story either.
As the town attorney, I'm instructing the staff.
But you
And the
also
I am
said we need to
instructing-
move forward with
I
correcting the zoning.
It's
And
important.
I have the email.
It's important. It's an important issue, and it's going to have to be addressed, of course. I
Well,
agree.
you need to get your story right then,
I
because
agree
it hasn't
with that.
been.
But it's not supposed to proceed in this manner, especially not when there's a pending lawsuit. And a lot of the
Well,
statements.
no one on the pending
A lot of the
lawsuit side
statements-
is communicating,
a lot of
and
the
I
statements-
communicated with you
I'm
on
not gonna-
what
I'm not
are the
gonna-
next
I'm not gonna argue
steps.
with you here. But I'm giving you the direction not to take any action, have any discussion on this item.
I'll challenge him any day, because you are not giving the appropriate advice to staff moving forward. I mean, I have intentionally taken myself out of the picture when it comes to executive session, but you are not giving us the correct
It's
advice.
not the time to have the discussion.
Yes, it is, because, yes, it is. Because this is wrong. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is wrong. And we can deal with it.
Move on to the next item.
Yeah, you don't wanna hear it.
I don't want to have a public discussion about these issues when there's pending litigation. It's irresponsible.
Where you're irresponsible
It's irresponsible.
on your part.
It's not
So you can
responsible.
sit here and sit high and almighty as an attorney.
Discussion's over.
Bring it back.
No, not as far as it's not.
Okay, so let's go back to 4.8 and
You're
discussion-
wrong, Clark.
Discussion and possible action regarding the draft fence ordinance. So, Scott, do you want to update us on, I think we should.
I have nothing to say, because I know this guy's wrong,
Well, we're talking about.
and it needs to be corrected.
Okay, so the fence ordinance, Scott, you're not going to talk about the fence ordinance?
It's all right there.
Okay, all right, so I read through the fence ordinance, the one that was proposed. I also saw some of the comments, I think of the council. The Parker Road thing is in there. It was part of our attachment in the email.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think I agree with that except for the pool. The bit about the pool fence, because I think we're going to do a fence ordinance, or a pool ordinance, update the pool ordinance. I'm okay with the Parker Road thing. I think it's now underneath the, I lost it.
6 feet.
Oh, it's not the front yard thing, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're talking about the height of the fence along
Yes.
Parker Road if it's in
And I
the
think,
front.
and one of the questions was, from the council, I believe, was, okay, does this also include the 50% 6-inch slats with only 6-inch openings? And the answer, I mean, I would say the answer is yes, because we didn't say anything different, and that was part of the ordinance. But if we want to, if you guys want to, I suppose we could put it in.
So this is, I don't think I was here for this, but this is to say that any residence facing Parker can have a 6-foot wall in front of it?
Well,
A
that was
6-foot
that was the
fence?
thing I wasn't quite sure about, but yes, because of the traffic, and that would cut down on the noise. But the question came up was, okay, and again, this is residential, not
Yeah,
commercial.
visibility, right? So,
Well, no, it was to cut down on the noise, but then in the ordinance, there's a 50%, you can't have a solid fence in the front yard, and you can't affect any kind of side yard or side road visibility, right? So,
The visibility triangle,
yes, exactly.
right?
And so, we had already stated in the fence ordinance that a front yard is 4 feet, which is the normal one.
yeah,
You can't have a solid fence, you can only have 50%.
right,
With 6-inch, no wider or no narrower than 6 inches between the slats, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yes.
so when the exception for Parker Road to cut down on noise,
Was that by a resident or?
no, this was brought up by the council.
Hmm, okay. I don't agree with it, I think it look awful, but again, it's not necessarily about the view of it. I mean, you drive through other towns that have big roadways that go through, and they don't have the big wall in front of the homes. So that is a concern for me. But if we are going to do 6 feet, then I think there should be some sort of, it should follow the same as far as the 50%.
Right.
But then it negates the noise barrier.
Well, yeah, but that was always,
That's so true, I didn't even think of that.
well, it does, but that was the question, I think, that, first of all, the suggestion came from the council
Mhm.
and came down to us. And so that was inserted into the proposed fence ordinance. This is the feedback we got when they looked at it
Yeah,
the last
okay.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it is now in there. We haven't looked at it, other than when you're looking at it now.
Yeah.
So, and the other question along with that was, okay, first of all, the exception to have a 6-foot, up to a 6-foot in the front yard, only along Parker Road for residents, not the commercial, okay? And then, but they still have to comply with the 50%.
Get the 50%.
And so, yes, you're right, it may not cut down a lot of noise, but it may also, I don't know. I'm trying to tell you what the council came back
Yeah.
with, and so it's in there, and then it's up to us. I mean,
Well, it's not-
it's sitting in front of us now, it depends on what you guys want to do. Do you want to,
So we went from a 2-lane to a 4-lane, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're
we
moving
will,
towards. So
yeah.
theoretically double the traffic, potentially,
I'm
but
sure that it'll.
It's gonna be-
Yeah.
A lot more.
a lot, well, I mean,
And,
over time it's increased also,
Yeah.
and no one's built fencing to close off the sound.
No, I agree. I'm just, again, that was what
Yeah.
came from the council, and then,
Yeah, I don't like that one, but I'll listen to y'all's
And then they-
opinion, so.
They questioned, right, that any fence that was put up, they didn't, the question about code enforcement, can code enforcement still see, what's going on behind the fence, right? Which I don't think we really had any discussion about that.
I think the discussion, we did have a discussion about that stuff, about people going, in your backyard.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember that, Tammy? Yeah. I know you remember. And there weren't too many people that were in favor of that.
I hear you. So there was those points, and then there was the question about the abatement of, the removal of the abatement of unsafe fences. Why was that section?
That specific section, if I recall correctly, spoke to the actual procedures. And when we talked about it, we had mentioned we already had the procedures outlined in the code enforcement policy for any violation. And that's what we-
I agree, that's, you know,
Right.
that
Right.
those fences essentially become non-conforming,
Right.
and we have code enforcement instructions already.
So, and we don't want to change.
Yeah, so
Right.
why did we have
Right.
something here
Right.
that,
You
you
know,
know, kind of,
if something changes, you don't have to look through every one of your documents to
Right.
make a change. If you
Right.
have
Yeah.
one place, it should pertain to
Yeah.
everything.
Right.
And that was the discussion, right?
I agree, you know, so, but council, I mean, do we need to provide something, you know, the question, you know, here, right?
Well, if those are the only questions they had, obviously I'll go back. I wasn't at the meeting where council
Okay.
spoke or
Okay.
dealt with the fence
Right,
ordinance.
right.
I only went back, looked at the video and was able
Understood. No,
to see what their comments were. and-
Sure,
Right, right,
sure.
right.
So, you can address the, why
Right.
we remove the
Right.
abatement. The 6-foot thing with, explain to me again what, refresh my
so-
memory on the slats and
Okay, so in the fence ordinance.
in the front yard.
In the front yard, you can't have a solid fence in the front yard.
Yes.
It can't be any more than, it's like, number 3, I think, on the front yard. Enforcement.
No, oh, keep going. Those are the definitions. In just that one. Oh, right here. No.
Fence
See.
requirements, rear yard.
See, there we go. So here's what it's saying, and then this is the 50%. So typically it's the 4 foot, and then it has this 50%. So is anyone in favor of the 6 foot? And kind of give me your opinion.
How many people does this even affect?
Well,
And I mean, if you live on the corner of Parker and another street, you need a variance to have a fence that's the same height, right? Could you like 6 foot and then 4 foot or whatever? Because you'd have it'd be 2 front yards at that point.
I mean, I'll take a stab, but I bet you it's more than 25 homes along Parker Road.
But most of them are pretty set pretty far
Set
back.
back.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You ask how many does it affect?
True.
If I lived on Parker, I would want a 6-foot fence as well. One's already been approved right across from us here.
The problem with that one is it does not meet,
It's not all the way 6 foot.
well, it doesn't meet the 50% visibility. That one is solid, the way they designed it. So
Okay. So they didn't,
They got a variance or something.
they got a variance, I think, for the 6 foot. I wasn't there, so I don't know. I
Okay.
think they got variance at least for the 6 foot, but I know that that's the problem with this ordinance, is we have to make sure that they either follow that 50% visibility rule, or we say that they don't have to. But you're gonna get a lot like that where you can't see
Yeah, and
at all into that.
that kind of changes the town itself.
well, until this thing becomes effective, it's just it's a proposal, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
But I definitely support the visibility part of it. You need to see something in there. But, I mean, this is just turning into a highway here. You know, I walked down the sidewalk one day to look at something in the road, and just walking down the sidewalk with, so close to the road, cars are going 55 miles an hour next to you. I mean, I can
Exceeding the speed limit.
imagine. Exactly.
which you know they will. Anyway. right. All right, so we can either propose something back to the council.
I think is this fence ordinance, there was a time talking about fences leaning
Yeah,
too
this
far.
down here, 1 foot.
It's still in there? Okay, I was looking for it. Okay.
Yeah, that's talking about maintenance,
Yeah.
condition of becoming a non-conforming offense, or non-conforming offense. So, picking words here, okay? The solid area of the front yard fence shall not exceed 50% of the total area of the fence. That needs to say front yard fence,
Okay.
because
Oh, it is, it's his front yard here. Those are all the
I'm
requirements for
talking,
the
yeah,
front
but
yard.
I'm talking about specifically on number 3. I could read that as, if I've got a fence around my entire property,
I got you. I
Right.
got you.
and what it's meant to be is that the solid area of the front yard fence cannot or shall not exceed 50% of the total area of the front yard fence,
Yeah, I got you.
right? And again, you know how it goes, and you got the lawyer sitting next to you. It's all about being absolutely clear. And when I read that, I was like, okay, I know what the intent is.
Yes, yeah,
But the way it reads, I could argue both ways.
right?
And
Right.
I
And
don't
that's a
want to argue,
problem.
right? So, I mean, and I thought about, I read, the packet you sent out, and I'm thinking to myself, how do you put a fence in the front yard that the code enforcement officer can see through to see what's behind it and still,
That's true.
keep, noise out, right? And I'm like,
You don't.
yeah.
You don't.
I mean, that's one that's like the magic fence.
Yeah.
Push the button and all the slats turn like this. I understand, we had this discussion about the noise, but man, it's, and really, okay, if it's a 4-foot fence and it's the front yard, right? It ain't gonna look any better than if it's a 6-foot fence. Okay, you can put a 4-foot fence up. I don't know. The question there then becomes, like you say, okay, if we absolutely say the solid area of the front yard fence can't exceed 50%, that means every other slat, right? It almost becomes,
A joke.
yeah, ain't nobody gonna do that.
I guess the benefit to that is if they did this is devil's advocate, but if they did a 6-foot, even with slats, it's still some privacy if they wanted privacy from a major road. So maybe not a noise buffer, but privacy.
You're gonna put,
Instead
okay,
of privacy from, it may be a dumb-looking picket fence or a dumb.
you gotta have every other slat?
I didn't say it was gonna look good. I'm just saying that could be a reason why they might want something a little taller from privacy from other, because out here, none of us care if your neighbor's looking in your yard really, but maybe those people aren't your neighbors, they're driving down Parker Road at 55 miles an hour. That would be the only other thing I could think of. I'm not saying I'm for it, I just,
And what about, so we're talking Parker Road here, but don't we have some property on Park that's gonna be Park
Yes.
Boulevard?
Not
And it'll be
not
the
as
same.
much, but you'll have quite a bit of meeting, Jimmy.
So if whatever we decide here should apply to both.
It will. The traffic that Parker Road gets versus Park is about 100 to 1.
Now, but as soon as they build it all the way through,
It will always be that way, and I'll tell you why. The traffic that's coming from down Parker Road right now is from all the building that's out in Levon, Nevada, and it's going to Plano. Cutting over to you cut through on Park Road, and you're cutting over to, Country Club, what's that by 'em?
no, it's gonna continue through. Like they're expanding that
I wonder if you're
on
gonna
the
get
other
more
side of Country Club.
truck traffic coming up, because it's gonna connect to Spring Creek and Wiley, which will be 78.
Once they get the bridge done over there, in God knows how many
Yeah,
years.
once
I
you
mean,
quit
they've been
finding
working on
bones or whatever.
it.
All right, so what do you want to do about this? Do we need to think about this more, or? I mean, I'm not sure that we're all in favor of this 6-foot fence on Parker, but, because we kind of talked about it, what's the advantage? I don't know.
I'm not, I mean, if I lived
You're
on
okay
Parker
with it.
Road, I'd have a for sale sign in front of my house.
We've got a few of them too.
But it's,
Becoming commercial. Or wanting to.
I mean, I can understand why somebody would want to make a taller fence than 4 feet. How you make it, like I said, it's beyond me, I guess. I don't have a real, argument for or against.
Is there a way we can go ahead, next time we have a council meeting, and kind of explain some of our dilemma here?
Sure.
And see if there's any feedback,
Okay.
Any direction that council
and
would like
Should we
for
even continue?
P and Z to
Right.
consider.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I'd hate to approve something and send it to them and they go, oh.
Yeah, well, just the back and forth, I mean, if
Right.
there, if there's input that they want us to consider.
I mean, we've looked at it, we've
Yeah.
heard our discussion, so.
Maybe, just a suggestion, maybe we can have a joint P and Z council meeting for part of the council meeting.
A work
Not saying the whole work session, and this would be the one topic.
Yeah,
That would probably be a little more productive than.
I agree.
Back
Back
and
and
forth,
forth.
back and
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Issue's gonna be scheduling,
Yeah.
especially this time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we've been sitting on this for a while, so.
I hear you. Yeah,
No,
it ain't getting any stellar.
no.
Yeah.
So the next part is 307007, and it talks about fence design, it talks about the electric fence. And the 30 inches and a minimum height from ground of 20. We had something like that in there.
We did, yeah.
The correction is, we
Well,
added,
we
we
included-
added the 30 inches. What was there was.
A
is a
reasonable
reasonable
distance.
And that's where I brought up the point.
Right.
Again, we can't be vague,
Right.
right? We have to
Right.
be specific about what the requirements are.
Yeah.
So I don't think there wasn't any discussion on that one.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good there.
No, I don't think we can get any feedback on that, and that's why we changed it. 'Cause it was-
Exactly,
It's too generic.
exactly.
And then under 307008, down at 6, says a property owner shall maintain any and all fences that are 50% faded or disrepair, including those existing prior to the adoption of this.
That was a change that we added.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was another generic.
So I wonder, what does 50% faded mean? Does that mean the entirety of the fence, 50% of it is faded? Or the color has 50% faded from the vibrancy of the color? And how do you measure that?
Take a paintbrush and put it up there.
I mean, the 50% faded, does the inspector go by and go, okay, I'm looking and half your fence is faded, or? The disrepair,
I'm
that
not sure we
can
really
have some facts
understood how
behind
to
it.
word it differently, that was the
Okay.
problem.
Mhm.
It said, it was generic before, and then we put the
Try to put
50%. How do we
something.
determine that? I don't know.
Mhm.
So again, I mean,
The 50% disrepair, you
Yeah.
can see some physical damage maybe to.
well, but the problem you get, okay, I'll tell you, people paint their fence.
Mhm.
And then, 5 years down the road, it starts peeling and fading and looking like, that'll be nice, bad, how's that?
We have a
Somewhere.
hailstorm and.
Or we have a hailstorm and,
Looks like you got
Yeah.
polka dots.
I'll make a statement, Scott, you tell me whether I'm wrong or not. it's up to the code enforcement officer to make a judgment call on it, whether
It
it's.
usually is arbitrary.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of this stuff, you know, when it comes to code enforcement.
It's gonna have to be a call out in the field.
It is, exactly.
The intent is that you maintain your.
It is.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
and it's at least stated, it's, you know, it's some type of measurable threshold that you can say, that he can say, well, that's 50%.
And it's up to the citizenry to come back and go, no, it's not 50%.
To prove
I can
that it's
prove
not
that it's not.
50%.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But in general, if it's that close, I'm just saying, I'll leave it at that.
But that really should be up to staff.
It should be, the code enforcement
It's
officer.
okay, we're gonna give you another year, you know, like, it's like one no tire, right?
Yeah.
Next time we inspect. I don't know. I mean, the point is we want them to maintain the fences.
Yep.
Yeah.
So not that we're gonna be terribly sticky, but, you know.
It needs to be a defined threshold.
Okay. The next is 307010, I think we're going to talk, that's the abatement of unsafe fences, so
Yep.
we already covered that one.
Yep.
And that's all I see. Did y'all see anything?
Nope.
All right, so we're going to have a working session. You're gonna
Yeah,
propose.
that's all, the board for you.
Yeah.
All coordinated council.
I think that's probably the best way to do
And
it.
probably
It'll just be this one audit,
Session,
that's
we
all
can
it
get
is.
it
Yeah.
rectified.
And it's gonna be mainly talking about, okay, how would you like it first to handle the proper road fences?
Right, pretty much.
I mean, put everybody's head together and let's come up with something.
Okay.
All right, so we're done with propane?
Yes.
Okay. Well, number 5,
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
can I have a second?
Second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.